very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. It's the first one for the week and it promises to be exciting as always. I'm Yemi Adebayo. A lot to talk about in the fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. We have a lot lined up for your viewing pleasure tonight. I'll not be doing this alone as usual. My tag team partner, Austin Akpan, is with me as we take this trip across the money spinning world of sports. It's been a while, Austin. Good to see you again.
What a great things to you. I mean, good to be on the show. Action-packed world of sports, so much happening. We'll try to catch up, with the pace. We're still celebrating what the Flamingos did at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. And shows that the future looks good for women's football in Nigeria.
All right, that's where we start the show tonight. It appears like we're catching up. It's been a while. So at the end of it all, were you surprised with the outcome of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup with what the Flamingos? I know you're a positive guy. You've always said nice things about the team. But did you expect them to get past the quarterfinal, not alone going on to win the bronze?
No, yeah, I just try to keep the optimism, because I know that we've got talent at that level. I know that our foundational, base looks good. That's why we keep charging administrators to give attention to the grassroots. So to an extent, I had expectations, but without pressure. Remember, I kept saying that at the grassroots, no pressure because you're thinking development. It's long-term, So with the Flamingos and a little bit of what I know about Coach Bankole and what the girls did during the qualifiers, I was expecting them to, make a statement. And did they make a statement? Oh, yes, they did, Surprise, surprise. I wanted them to, do something against Colombia, but that pressure of wanting to reach the final got to them. They didn't express themselves. That expression that I was waiting for against Colombia was what they showed against Germany, but they blew a 3-0, lead, but you got lucky this time around with penalties. So that's football for you. I like that everybody's smiling now. Let's not forget that these girls are young. We must keep that project going. We must keep monitoring them and, see ways that we can integrate them into the senior women's national team, which is the promise that the ministry has made. Then we need to ensure that they fulfill that promise, Yemi.
All right, the big story from today is the rousey reception the girls received when they landed. Everybody proud of them, singing and rejoicing is what happened today. So let's allow our viewers see a little of that and also listen to the coach of the team talk about Coach Bankole Olowokere speaking his mind on how happy he is and, of course, the journey so far with the girls. We'll do that and come back for more. Sports Tonight.
I'm a coach. I've won this one. I just have to celebrate this one with my family, with the rest of my millions of Nigerians, because they were watching me on the television and they were praying for me, praying for the team. We have achieved this one, and it's time for me to rejoice with fellow Nigerians.
We need on our knee and be praying that God do this for us, consider us inside the sun, inside the rain that we used to train. Just do this for us so we can make our president to be proud.
All right, so, of course, the arrival and, some of the girls speaking right there. All right, we'll continue with that discussion. But first, let me quickly introduce our partner in the Lagos studio. It's been a while. Kehinde Idris joins us now. Good to see you, Kehinde. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight. Straight away, let me just throw it at you. Let's get into it all together. Were you surprised with what the girls were able to do?
Yeah, good evening first, and then I think myself and Austin are catching up with you because we've always almost been together like weekly. But I think I wasn't surprised. Like Austin said, we saw them at the qualifiers. Then we had our beliefs, we had our hopes, they took our hopes to, another very enviable height. Then there was something about this team, probably for me, from the selection of the coach, Bankole, with Niger Rattles, we saw what he could do. And then we saw the qualifiers, the input. One of the things people ask for in the Nigerian team setup, whenever you see the game, gets to happen, whether it's a friendly or serious or qualifier and all of that, you want to see the tactical input of the coach. Let it not look like a team that is thriving on the talent of the team. Let it not be like a team that if this coach is not there, if another coach is there, would almost likely still get the same result. We saw that with Coach Bankole. And then all of these girls as of the qualifiers did not have the kind of name that they have now. We just knew, okay, this is an exciting crop. And then when they got to the World Cup, maybe I'll say I love what happened in the German game. I think that woke everybody. That, tuned them on that this is the real deal at the World Cup. And you're playing teams that actually are conquerors from their, continents
respective
to be
continents,
here.
yeah.
So it's a big one. And then Germany did that. And after Germany, we can almost say nobody, actually had their back on the ground after then. And that is the beauty, a very good side. We saw the growth. And after the New Zealand game, yes, I said this team was going to go places. I don't know what places, but I felt they would do that. Then the quarterfinal came. That seemed like this is our stop point, and they scaled through that. I think the girls have given a good account of themselves. And right now, names, as in their numbers, have been remembered. I, for one, can remember Taiwo, Ajakaye, Dafe, or Milano. You can go on and on mentioning those names. And it's a beauty. And I was saying it to my colleagues. I said, one of the issues I have with my country is the fact that we really don't know how to celebrate people. Or in this case, we really don't know how to celebrate teams. I will be very tired to hear, we'll give you money, we'll give you land, we'll give you cars. I want to hear something even more special than that for this game.
Okay. All right. Let me go to Austin. Kennedy has talked about wanting them to be celebrated and all that. And we can play the devil's advocate and hold brief for the government because somebody as high as the sports minister said a thing or two about this team and he's praised them to high heavens. So maybe all the things Kennedy is wishing for will actually happen at some point. But let's talk about the sports minister. Obviously elated, like everybody. I mean, who would not be proud of what the Flamingos have been able to do?
Yeah, and don't forget when Mr. Sunday Dari came on board, he was singing the gospel of grassroots sports development. Oh, we need to go back to the schools. We need to go back to the basics, And I'm glad that the Flamingos have given him work now, So they've gone to do this. And now he's talking. He's saying that we will make sure that we keep them close, we keep them together to, get up to the senior level. That's progression, that's the right thinking, So when the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development don't do this, when we wait and we don't hear about the Okweyemi Ajakoyes, the Omilanos, and some of the names that Kende Idris mentioned, we'll go and ask the ministry, what's happening? We saw good talent at the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in India. 5 years from now, there should be some of those names that we'll be talking about because we saw a little bit of that level of progression from what we saw with the Falconets at the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Some of them already playing for the Super Falcons. It means there must be long-term programs. So it goes beyond talks from the ministry. We want to applaud them for having that thinking, but let's put words into action. I don't know if the minister has been talking. I mean, it's good. We get some reactions from the ministry, and then we get on with this developmental football conversation.
It's the first of its kind in our history. And I must also commend the NFF for the preparations, for the organization, for making sure that you went through the rite of passage, the qualifiers, sending you to Turkey, and then getting you to go and all the logistics that went with it. But I think the biggest thanks goes to the technical crew. I saw that your coach, Banki, became a prayer warrior. And that infected almost all members of the team. once again, you were just great ambassadors on the field and also off the field, because you showed the typical Nigerian spirit of teamwork and tolerance. We thank you most sincerely. I want to say congratulations. You're welcome back home. As a ministry, we will approach Mr. President. We will seek an appointment for you to meet with Mr. President, and he will thank you officially on behalf of the country when he returns. Also, you know that when you meet with the father and you've done well, there will be some reward.
All right, that's the Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, commending the girls and, of course, telling them how proud he is, how proud Nigerians are of their achievement. Well, before we get back to Austin, and of course, he led us into listening to the Sports Minister. We don't really have much time, but there's a vital part of what Austin said in his intro. What next? Want to see progression.
Yeah.
That is one. Want to see development.
Yeah.
Not just the girls that played, because these girls were picked from a pool.
Yeah.
That development has to be across that pool.
Yeah.
You have to take care of that pool, not because they got bronze, but because it's your duty to develop the game.
Yeah, look at how sweet it is celebrating these girls. Now, a lot of persons, can, attach their name. The minister is doing that. The ministry is doing that. The NFF is also doing that. Because, come to think of it, third best under-17 women's nation in the world is a sweet.
The best performance from an African team.
And then if you say the end of the third place, I think that video went viral on socials, where the German girls actually changed jersey. They were all dancing together because they have utmost respect for this team. They love them. These are young girls, who are young women who met and saw that these are stars being born.
A lot of people will be offended with young women. Let's stick with the girls. But, but I get your point.
Because they say no more girls' sports, it's women's sport.
Okay.
That's why I'm using young women, So what I'm saying is, now you just mentioned the pool. If that pool is developed, then we have no bother about any time we go to that pool, we're coming out with talented crop. Now, go to the story of the Spanish women who won. They've been together for a long while. They know each other so well. And if you watch their games, it's not like they are doing so much, but they play basic football. Be disciplined in the defense, be neat with your tackles, go so well, convert your chances, and all of that. This is understanding. This is build coming from somewhere. I'm sure the Spanish team, this is not a 2 years build. We're talking 5-6 years. Maybe they've known each other from under 12, under 13, thereabout, up until under 17. And that is what we should do. Transition. Where are these girls going from now? The ones who are behind them, who are 14 now, 13 now, what is the program to help them to where their Ajakaye are today? That is what, and that is what I meant by reward. If we don't reward them with anything, but you actually set up something that helps them grow, that in the next 5 years, they can almost be sure that they will be the next big thing. I think that's a bigger reward.
Okay. All right. Let me go back to Austin now. And, what else to add? You already pointed us towards that direction about what next, ensuring that the production line is intact, ensuring that we see progression in the ranks. And if we do all of that, we probably shouldn't have any problem. So, aside all of that, is there anything else you'd love to see?
Yeah, with the Channels International Kids Cup, right after it is done, what we do as a TV station in meeting our corporate social responsibility objectives is that we follow up with those schools. Now, the Channels International Kids Cup, when a team wins, it rubs off on the school itself and the state. So you see, we don't just focus on the school that comes, that state where that school came from. We've given them some level of awareness that, look, you've got talents right there. In ABC school, it means XYZ school can also have that sort of talent. So get to work. So the state FA, Subeb, the school itself, parents, games masters, you see the people I'm listening is holistic. That's what I want the ministry to do with these girls. They're young. They came from schools, secondary schools. Let it rub off on their schools where they're coming from. Let it rub off on their communities. Let Ajakaye start being a role model to people in a community. Let Omilano inspire other young girls in her school. Let her take proper football development to the school and let another girl dream that someday she can have the opportunity to play at the FIFA Women's World Cup. What am I trying to say? That right after the football, you don't go to sleep. You develop programs and you walk through them. That's what the ministry should be able to do with these girls, and not just these girls, the age grade competitions. That's why I love when you say that it's not just these girls that went to the World Cup. There was a pool. You know, keep them close, keep them together. You know, let's design programs that will be long term. That's why I love this 10-year football master plan. I cannot wait for them to start doing some of those things that they said they would do, because it will impact on football at this level, developmental. So that's about what we want to see. It will be good if they get to meet Mr. President, and Mr. President appreciates them. Maybe give one or two things, but that's not what we should focus on. We should focus on the program to keep them together, to use them as a springboard towards achieving more talent, and of course, give hope to the future, particularly for young girls who want to get into football.
All right, Austin, let's stick with women. Let's talk about wasn't a good start yesterday. Talking about CAF Club competition for the women. So let me allow you lead in that conversation. I've always believed, I still believe, that the best female footballers are in Nigeria. That's what I believe. But then again, the way we organize ourselves sometimes that doesn't help our cause. But let me allow you to talk about the CAF, the women's competition, and how it wasn't a good start for one of our representatives.
Yeah, and you see, I love what we're doing with women's football development. That organization you're looking for can start with this under 17, and then we take that program into the clubs. South Africa, for instance, doing so well women's football is a lot of work. There's a lot of investment. There's a lot of deliberate planning, purpose-driven objectives, and they are beginning to repeat. They are champions of the women's WAFCON, and now Mamelodi Sundowns, defending champions of the CAF Women's Champions League, having a good start over Nigeria's Bayelsa Queens. Let's take a look at the Group B results once again. It's the second edition of the CAF Women's Champions League, but I'm not putting Bayelsa Queens out now, no, because I thought they did give a good account of themselves. They're new to these competitions, playing, you know, the defending champion. We knew was going to be very tough. So if we can just get a rundown of that Group B result again, we know Mamelodi Sundowns defeated Bayelsa Queens by 2-1. Waiting to see what they can do in their second and third game. But Kende Idris, after seeing the first match, are you optimistic Bayelsa Queens can bounce back?
Yeah, very optimistic. Like I said, I think this is a sample of what happened with the Flamingos. The best team in the group, the Flamingos had to play the Germans, ended 2-1. And I think Bayelsa Queens, I read some tabloids, some media outfit reports before this game. And they mostly targeted a final before the actual final, talking about Mamelodi Sundowns, Bayelsa Queens. Now, the respect for me in the whole story I read prior to this game is the fact that Bayelsa Queens are coming to this point for the first time. For Mamelodi Sundowns, they are the defending champions, so they are in another space, a huge one at that. For Bayelsa Queens, the report actually has it that following their progression from the league, how they triumphed, then the qualifiers from Wafubi and all of that, and then they got to this point, they are actually a team to reckon with. They gave that respect, and when you're giving respect, that means you're doing something special. Now, if you now watch that game, there are times where the naivety in your experience, have you been here? How huge is the place you've been? I think that showed in that game against Mamelodi Sundowns. Some failed passes, conversion of chances, and all of that. And I think massively, the Bayelsa Queens I know have learned from this game. And no disrespect to Wadi Degla and also TP Mazambe or Nifak, whichever we want to call the ladies. I think we should, when I mean we, Bayelsa Queens, should be able to do the needful and qualify. And maybe there will be another meeting between Bayelsa and Mamelodi Sundowns. But the respect in that game, if you watch even the one goal we scored, that was pure class.
Sublime. Yeah.
Sublime. Very fantastic goal. And that showed that they've got a class in them. But not being at this stage is where the problem lies for them. And now they know this stage is massive and you need to rise to the occasion. And I'm sure from the next game, Bayelsa Queens will rise to the occasion. I'm very, very strong on that.
Just put a pause on the conversation here. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, we'll just get more reactions from the CAF Women's Champions League, and then we get into the CAF Confederation Cup. So don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're taking a look at what went down at the CAF Women's Champions League. It's the maiden edition. Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa are the defending champions. And in their opening Group B match against Nigeria's Bayelsa Queens, they won 2-1. We showed you pictures from that match. And I asked Kehinde Idris if he believes that the Bayelsa Queens team will bounce back, and he's optimistic. Yemi, is your confidence intact for Bayelsa Queens?
Yeah, definitely. Look, if I would have been worried if, I've heard all those kind of stories where we shoot ourselves in the foot and all of that. Here, the only problem, I agree with everything Kehinde Idris said. They're not wanting or lacking in terms of talent, in terms of ability. It's not a problem. But the question is, have they been on this stage before? And the experience of handling issues when on that kind of level. Have you been on this pedestal? Have you been there before? And I hope that they've learned from that first game. You see how we give away the ball on a few occasions, some mishit passes. But if you look at the goal we scored, if you can produce moments like that in a game, you will win. For instance, I know if and what if doesn't really play any role in football, but just imagine within all those missed passes that led to that second goal didn't happen, and we scored that goal. We'll probably be talking about a draw, and what if we were a bit more disciplined with our defending? They probably won't get that second goal as well. So, just the margins weren't that wide. So you could take confidence, and no disrespect to the other teams in the group. We always knew that this was going to be the toughest in the group. But then again, they have to keep their eyes on the prize. They have to focus on the job at hand. Once they get that next win, I think the burden will be lifted off their shoulder. You have to get that win first. And that's why it's always important in a tournament for you to win your first game. Once you don't, it puts you under pressure. But then again, with what we saw, if they can cut out those errors, they cut it out, there shouldn't be much of a problem.
Hopefully they will get better, match after match. Let's take a look at the Group A fixtures. More action coming from the CAF Women's Champions League. I love the attention that the Confederation of African Football is giving to women's football. The prize money seems, fair enough. They are broadcasting these matches. So it's part of their own way of developing women's football. And all we can say is we need to do more.
Yes, we need to do more. And for my darling nation, we need to key in more into all of this development because the kind of joy women's sports, maybe in this case women's football, is bringing to us is massive, really. And we need to do more. We need to key in more. I usually go back to the words of Danny Jordan, the FA president of SAFA, South African Football Association. He said the ladies look closer to winning the World Cup more than the men, and that's so right. If you watch our progression, whenever they start the FIFA Club World Cup, you will see how the ladies would, perform against their ladies from, against other ladies from around the other continent. That's how huge these girls, have risen in time past. And we need to do more. The Champions League, a well-welcomed idea, has been lacking, and now it's here. Now we can test our abilities against teams. Look at what happened with Rivers United. Well, at home hero, well respected, but they got to the continent, and for so many reasons they couldn't hold their own. But I'm sure they are looking to come back and even make a more bigger statement when they get to this stage again. So it helps you to test even your ability further. Now I've conquered home Nigeria. Let me see what I can do at the waffle. Now let me see what I can do at the continent level. And like I said, when the world level comes, you still want to aspire to be there. So we need to key in more and see, how well we can express. Look at what Spain is doing with women's football right there. They started by giving souvenirs so that people come and watch games. There is always a jersey under your seat whenever you come to see a game. So people started coming. And then the Barcelona ladies broke a record where the men's team had never had such mammoth crowd in the Nou Camp. And that's it. You start growing it to continue to believe until they start to take it to heights that only was dreamt about, and it's become a reality. And if you continue like this, even our women's football will start getting more attention and followership. Now we are reporting Bielsa Queens at the continental level, and I'm sure a lot of persons would want to key into. They keep talking about it. Okay, I'm in Morocco. Why not go see one of the games of Bielsa Queens? And you'll find Nigerians waving the flag. You're already selling it. We're everywhere. And you're already selling it. Yeah. And if you continue like that, hey, the talent is there. All that needs to be done is the push from the administrators, bring in more.
And guess what? You're right. We've spent 55% of this program talking about ladies. So I think we're eating the mark already. Austin alluded to games that will be played tomorrow. Maybe we can quickly share to our viewers. Simba Queens will be in action tomorrow against Italy. FAR Rabat will be up against Green Buffaloes, all in the CAF Women's Champions League. Interesting matches to be played. Let's flip it now and talk about the guys. We have a lot of ground to cover. We spent a lot of time talking about the ladies. Let's go on and talk about the guys. They will be in action. Two clubs representing Nigeria. Started with 4. We're down to 2. Will it be 2 in 2? Will it be 1 in 2? Will it be 0 in 2? I hope it turns out to be 2 in 2. So they'll be in action tomorrow. Rivers United of Nigeria will be up against Al Nassr of Libya. Plateau United of Nigeria will be up against, two Libyan teams. Austin, I've been taught a lesson from the last game. It really doesn't matter which leg is played at home. Just hope at the end of both legs, the Nigerian teams will remain in the competition. Because I usually would have said it's good. We play the first leg away and come and, but I don't even care. I just hope to see a Nigerian team at the end.
Football will humble you, yeah, and I think that's what it did to you in the CAF Champions League. Let's just hope that Rivers United and Plateau United, have learned their lessons, because I thought one of them deserved to have, advanced. Maybe Plateau United will still, be feeling so bad. They were victims of poor officiating, but now being drawn against two clubs from Libya, I'm sure followers of football in Nigeria will be saying, no stories. Don't tell us that a Libyan team will come up now and stop you guys from, advancing in the CAF Confederation Cup. But hey, let me remind you again that football doesn't work that way, particularly at the club level. It is how you prepare that you go out there and, and impress, particularly when you've got an opportunity, to make an impression. So I'm open, I'm the guy who is optimistic, but I'm just open now with the CAF Confederation Cup, because these teams just need to sit back and realize that it won't be good for us to be talking continental football and we don't have Nigerian teams. So, let's just be optimistic, Kendi Idris. I think that's all we can do. Just keep the faith with our Nigerian teams.
Fingers crossed, really, for an average follower of football in Nigeria, especially our club football. Fingers crossed. we had our beliefs, hopes, wishes as of that weekend that they were united in victory from Kwara United to Rivers to Plateau, and then we were hoping at least one of them will pull through. Rivers United had a lot of persons, believing. Kwara United even taking it to another level. But the next weekend they were united in, loss right there, and it took everybody out except for the ones who had the chance of falling back to the CAF Confederation Cup. And whether you want to call it non-mainstream, not African clubs, because you will talk Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt, and then Algeria, when you're talking of those North African teams, that countries that we fear the most. But Sudan and also Libya have posed a lot of threat to us, over the years. So they are also very much respected, because one of the things we struggle against is not the team that plays us, it's the structure the team is coming from. They have a good structure that helps them go to any ground and believe they can do it right. We always have our fears because we get to grounds and we've never seen what we see there. Our players play in, fansless stadium.
Virtually empty stadium.
Virtually empty. And then you go to a place where over 50,000 capacity is packed, screaming, and you're wondering, already, even trapping of the ball has become a problem, because you're already thinking of what would happen in front of all this crowd. So these are the things we're struggling against, not even the talent. All over Africa, if they are asking for talent, they know we've got abundance of it, but they also know the administration and the way we run things has been a major bane of our growth. And that is where we fear. But like I had said, I think as much as we're optimistic, we're also trying to speak like a realist. We just want to face what is on ground. But hopefully, we'll be singing a better song after these games.
I hope so. I hope so. Let's leave it at that, because we have places to go. And our next port of call is where everybody is talking about. Unfortunately, Nigeria will not be there. Let's move our searchlight, our focus now on Qatar, the host of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. And officially, from this moment, it is 19 days to go to the World Cup, 19 days to the FIFA World Cup. It is exciting, and the pain returns, actually. It's 19 days. I mean, to talk about the World Cup without Nigeria is very, very difficult. My tongue almost twisted talking about it. But then we have a job to do. It's 19 days to go. And guys, as we've been doing for a while, we'll continue with that. We'll start our countdown, 19 days to go. We'll continue with our countdown. We'll profile some teams. And what we're going to do is to profile the host, Qatar. Of course, their nickname, the Maroon. They are ranked 50th in the world. They are making a debut appearance, Idris, at the World Cup. Their head coach is a Spaniard. He is Felix Sanchez. Their captain is Hassan Al-Hadas. And, of course, their FIFA code is what you have on your screen. Another team we want to profile tonight on the show is Ecuador. Their nickname, La Tri. They're ranked 44th in the world. 4 appearances they've made at the Mundial. Their coach is an Argentine, Gustavo Alvaro. Their captain, Enner Valencia, was in the English Premier League at some point. He currently plays for Fenerbahce. He is 32 years. Their best result at the World Cup is a round of 16. They did that in 2006. And their FIFA code, when you're looking at the World Cup and you see ECU, don't wonder, it's Ecuador. That's what you have on your screen, the profile of Qatar, profile of Ecuador. All right, Idris, let me just quickly get your thoughts before we get back to Austin. Let's start with Ecuador. With what you know about Ecuador, with what you know about the region they're coming through, what it takes to qualify from that region. What are you expecting from the La Tri?
A decent side. Enner Valencia, the captain, is a well-known name if you're, an ardent football follower. Not so much of a flamboyant footballer, but, effective and, always dogged, have belief. And that says it for the team. very, very effective team, very dogged, and they just go in there. And I'm saying these are teams where you tend to look away. They can shock you. They might not be the teams that you're looking at with some class, but you still cannot look away from that team. I always also call them like Colombia, like Ecuador, our African brothers. If you check out the team, almost all black, and then they play so much of physical football. So 44th ranked in the world, these are teams you don't want to put so much on, but the region they are coming from tells you a lot of story of them. For you to qualify from that region, you need more than hard work. Sometimes you even need
if you're going to qualify from that region, you're going to pass through the giants. Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay.
Exactly. And you can go on with names. Paraguay, Peru, all teams.
And you're going to play all of them to qualify.
Chile is there also. Very good.
All right. All right. Let me go to Austin. He's raring to go. I know you want to talk about Ecuador too, but no, my mind gives to you Qatar. What are you expecting from the host? Debut appearance. They've spent a lot of money. There's this conspiracy theory that FIFA never wants any host team to crash out after the first round. It's a conspiracy theory. It's not proven. But then, what do you expect from Qatar?
Yeah, as I look at that Group A table, Group A rather, that's got Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. I just like, I'm African, so Senegal should go through. And then because of name, you want to expect the Netherlands to go through. And then I remember what happened in Russia. Particularly, I was at the stadium when Russia defeated Spain. And there's just something about hosting the World Cup. There's just this spirit that comes with it. The fans, the people coming out to support, everything. Just makes the football look different. And for Qatar, they are hosting an unusual World Cup, and I keep telling everyone, I'm saying it now before we go to the World Cup, that this unusual World Cup might just give us unusual results, So let's get ready for upsets. Yes, a lot of you guys know I love upsets, I love oddity. But what I'm saying with this World Cup and the vibe Qatar is giving, let's leave the FIFA conspiracy. We know so well the importance of the 12th man on the pitch, and that's the fans. And I'm telling you, Qatar, we get a lot of support. You saw the other day on the show, we talked about Saudi Arabia, coming out to, also support them. And looking at their ranking, 50th in the world is decent. I was trying to really look into that ranking, and I was going to ask FIFA some questions. FIFA, are you sure? Are you sure? But if you rank 50th in the world, they expect to play decent football. And the Netherlands, on a good day when they want to disappoint, they will disappoint so well. So Qatar might just, be that team that can, just stun any team that doesn't want to advance from that Group A group. Because we've talked about Ecuador, we know their quality. In fact, the region where they're coming from can rub off. We don't know much about Qatar as a footballing country, but hey, they are hosting the World Cup, and with the vibe, the look and feel that we always get from the World Cup with the preparation that they've had. Who knows? You can't push the Maroons, out of this one. So let's wait and see. Football will tell us. But whatever is happening to that Group A table, nothing should happen to Senegal.
Yeah,
the other team should find
whatever they like. They do to themselves.
The other
but
team
keep Senegal out of
nothing
it.
should happen to Senegal from that Group A. So all the best to Qatar. I can't wait to see what they can do at the World Cup.
You know what? Let's talk about one of the most iconic moments of the World Cup. We're talking about sports auction, things that we can remember, things that bring back memories. And I mean, what better moment can we talk about? 1986, hand of God moment, Diego Armando Maradona, that moment, and the ball that was played on the pitch is going on auction, and they're hoping that it's going to fetch huge amount. And guess what? The guys that played against Maradona also reflecting on that moment. One of the guys said, I'm a very fast player. My teammates are very fast, but we ran after this guy and we just couldn't stop him, in reference to Diego Armando Maradona. So what we're going to do quickly is to allow you see some of those pictures, listening to those guys talk about that iconic moment in world football, 1986, Mexico, the World Cup was played, and of course that ball that is going up for auction and probably the amount it might go for. When we return, then we'll spend a few minutes we have left taking a look at what is currently going on, and that's the UEFA Champions League. But first, let's allow you listen to this. We'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
It was an incredible match that will always be remembered as one of the most amazing games of football ever, and hence this ball is extremely valuable. We're expecting it to fetch somewhere between £2.5 and £3 million when it comes up for auction. It's been with the referee since the match. He was in Tunisia, and he's kept it in a cupboard, which is probably not a bad thing. It's kept it out of the sunlight and things like that. It's deflated. It's a little bit deflated, but structurally and it's still absolutely fine, and the surface texture is absolutely fine. We did try and inflate it a little bit of air. It wasn't really taking it, so we just left it as it is. It's part of the history of it, really, as you see it now.
It's aged, like us, obviously, but it evokes memories of the World Cup. That game, obviously bittersweet, well, bitter memories, but you know, it's a long time ago, football goes on. But what we did do, even though we got beat, we played in possibly one of the most iconic football matches in the history of the game.
It is not a special memory, not a special sort of era for us, that World Cup, but yeah, everybody talks about it. Everybody says, do people say to you, what's the greatest player you've played against? They do to me, and I say, well, Maradona was the greatest player I played against. But I didn't know what he looked like because all I saw was the back of his head trying to chase him around the pitch. I saw there's number 10 everywhere. In my dreams and my nightmares, number 10.
The thing is, when you look back, and it's a long time ago, obviously, 1986, and if I go out, people still ask me about this game. You know, what was Maradona like? Did you see the handball? So it's so iconic. It will go for.
Did you see the handball?
Yeah.
You saw him handle it?
Because I was running back with when Steve Hodge knocked it, because he
should have knocked it away.
Correct.
It's iconic because it's so controversial, and I think, well, you look at that, the value goes because there's nothing else. You have balls that have been in World Cups, and we've seen some balls today, but they don't carry the image and the disbelief that ball carries.
It's got the two ends of the scale, you know, where you're thinking, well, you cheat, but then you're thinking, with the second goal, you're thinking, wow, what a genius, because we were both involved in chasing him, and we both good footballers, but on the day, that run.
All right, listen to a couple of people there, the auctioneer, Graham Board, and the guys that played for the English team in 1986, reliving the moment. 36 years ago was when that incident happened, and they were talking about it as if it just happened, talking about the genius that Diego Armando Maradona was in his lifetime playing football, and that iconic moment of the handball situation. Okay, Idris, we have just about 2 minutes to go. And UEFA Champions League, what's been happening? Quick one.
Quickly, we had early kickoffs. In Group B, Bayern Leverkusen versus Club Brugge, it ended 0-0. And then FC Porto 2, Atletico Madrid 1. Atletico Madrid finishing at the bottom of that group, you know. That's
what about Spurs?
Spurs is still ongoing, 0-0. This is halftime almost, 45+1 right now. But for Sporting, they are leading Eintracht Frankfurt 1-0. So Sporting are already putting themselves in the right place to qualify. I'm scared for Tottenham. If anything happens that they are short of a win or a draw, Tottenham might just not qualify. And that will take us to why Conte reacted the way he did in their last game. There would have been no man dry by now.
I should be scared.
And then Barcelona is leading 1-0.
I should be scared for Atletico, but I'm not scared for Simeone. He might just get the boot.
I think so too.
All right, stand by. Let me listen to Austin as we go. Austin, we got to go. But in a few seconds, your reaction to some of the results.
it's definitely Group D. You know, at the moment, Sporting they're on top with 10 points. Tottenham second with 9 points. Conte will still be kicking himself, you know, because he's not, you know, leading the team tonight because of that red card. So Tottenham must avoid defeat tonight at Marseille. It's tough for them, but let's see what's going to, you know, happen in that one. Yeah, I mean, sadly we got to go now. Great show. We'll be back again tomorrow in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan, and everything you do, remember, just keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, that's the show. But first, let me say a big thank you to Kehinde Idris for his time with us today. Hopefully, we'll do this again next week.
Of course. And then we take the discussion outside.
Definitely. All right, that's the show. We do hope you enjoyed everything we brought to you today. We'll be back again tomorrow to take you on a trip across the money-spinning, fast-paced, entertaining world of sports. From the city of Lagos, right here in Nigeria, I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.